to another exciting installment of The Lost Years of Merlin. Today is chapter 33, called The Wager. In the last chapter, Shim and Emerus awoke in Domnu's lair, surrounded by different methods of playing games, and she challenged Emerus to a game of chess. So now we are going to read that chapter. My heart pounded. I could not bring myself to step up onto the rug with Domnu. Come, my pet, I don't have all day, she smirked, baring her uneven teeth. Neither do you. Don't goes near her, whispered Shim frantically. I'm waiting, growled Domnu. Perspiration beaded on my brow. What was I to do? Maybe, if I humored her, I could still find some way to win her help. Yet no sooner had I formed this thought than I knew it was impossible. Domnu would never send us to the castle, for she believed that to do so would guarantee that we would lose our lives, and she her wager. And I admitted grimly to myself that she was probably right. Even so, dragging a whimpering Shim with me, I moved toward the edge of the rug. I had no idea what to do next, either about Domnu's game or my own quest to help Rhea. I only knew that we had traveled too far, survived too much, to give up before trying every possibility. When I reached the edge of the rug, Domnu pointed to the black horse, weighed down by the stone. Make your move, she commanded. But I stammered, I don't know the rules. That has not stopped you before, I'll wager. Unsure of her meaning, I tried again. Can you tell me the rules? The way I play, you can make up your own rules, until you break one of mine, that is. I faltered. I don't know how to begin. In the game of chess, unlike the game of life, you get to choose how you begin. But what if I choose poorly? Ah, she said, wrinkling her scalp. In that way, the two games are quite alike. One way or another, your choice will make all the difference. Drawing a deep breath, I stepped onto the rug of red and black squares. Hesitantly, I laid down my staff. Then, with effort, I lifted the black stallion and carried it all the way to the other side of the rug. I placed it on a square directly in front of the red king. Observed Domnu. You chose a very risky move, my pet. She eyed me curiously. Though no more risky than storming the shrouded castle without an army. She shoved the Red King to a square, where he could hide behind a pair of goblins. You must have some sort of reasoning. I do. It is a terrible shame you are so eager to die, especially when you are just learning how to play the game. Normally, I would be quite happy to help you die sooner, but a wager is a wager. What if I made you a wager myself? Domnu scratched her hairless head. What kind of wager? Well, I replied, my mind racing, if you can get me to the castle. Us, corrected Shim. Although his whole body was quaking, he let go of my leg and stood on his own beside me. We goes together. I is still feeling the same old madness. I nodded at him, then turned back to Domnu. If you can get us to the castle, then I will wager you that we will still survive this day, even with Stangmar and all his goblins and ghoulians there to greet us. You could wager the opposite, that we won't succeed. Domnu pulled thoughtfully at one of her ears. Ah, so you're raising the stakes, are you? That's right. And what happens if you don't survive the day? Well, then you would have lost one wager against Rita Gower, but you have won another against me. So at the end of the day, you will be no worse off. Whereas if you don't wager me, you will finish the day merely having a loss. She frowned. Not a chance. What sort of novice wager do you take me for, boy? I am giving you something of value by sending you to the castle. Whether or not you win, you get that much. And what do I get? Nothing. My face fell. But I have nothing to give you. Too bad. Her head wrinkled. Time for your next move. Wait. I pulled out the dagger from Han. You could take this. Domnu frowned again, waving it away. A weapon? Why would I ever need that? Domnu frowned again. Then what about this? I removed the satchel that Bronwyn had given me. These herbs are good for healing. Domnu hissed. What use would I have for such a thing? As I picked up my staff, she declared, I have no need of that either. I knew well that my one truly valuable possession was the Gala Tour. I suspected that Domnu knew it also. Yet, if I parted with that, my quest would be ruined. Here, said Shim, starting to peel off his baggy shirt of woven bark. You can keep this, made by my own mother, when I is a babesy. He sighed. A shame I never outgrows it. Domnu scowled. Keep it yourself. The black eyes probed me. If you have nothing more to offer, then we have nothing more to discuss, except, of course, the game of chess. My head was whirling. While I knew almost nothing of the Galator's powers, they were clearly extraordinary. Vast beyond knowing, Carepree had said. I could not possibly part with this, the last treasure. I had already saved our lives once. It might well do the same again. Besides, if Stangmar wanted it so badly, I might somehow be able to use it to bargain for Ria's life. Though I had no way of knowing if she was still alive, I could be sure that, without the Galator, I could never save her. Moreover, this jeweled pendant had been worn by my own mother. She had given it to me to keep, to protect. To give it away would also to give away some of her love for me. And yet, if I did not offer it to Domnu, she would never help me, and I could not possibly reach the castle without her help. So I, in turn, could not help Ria. Then again, what good was it to reach the castle without the Galator? Your move, she nudged me impatiently. Make your move. All right, I will. Slowly, I removed the Galator from my neck. You know this pendant, don't you? Domnu yawned, showing all her unruly teeth. I have seen it a few times over the ages, yes. What about it? Then you know its value. The hag remained dispassionate. I have heard rumors. Shim tugged hard on my tunic. Don't do this. This is foolishly. Ignoring him, I declared, I will wager you with the Galator. If you can get us to the castle of Stangmar, I choked on the words. I will give it to you. The black eyes swelled. No, cried Shim. We needs it. I took a step toward her. But if either Shim or I should ever return to you alive, no matter how much time has passed, then you must give the Galator back. Grasping the leather cord, I held up the pendant. Its jewels gleamed darkly in the shifting light. Those are the terms of my wager. Domnu clucked, as if she were about to swallow something tasty. And if you should ever return, which I doubt, my pet, you would trust me to give it back to you. No, protested Shim. I regarded her sternly. You said you never break the rules. That is true, she said, then she added in passing, with minor exceptions here and there, of course. All of a sudden, her hand shot out and snatched the pendant. You have a wager. My heart sank. The Galator was gone. Domnu gazed briefly into the Galator, her eyes reflecting its green hue. She plunged it into one of the sagging pockets in her robe. Then she smiled the smile of someone who had just won a grand wager. For my part, I felt sure that I had just given away my last best hope. You wanted that all the time, I said bitterly. I suppose that is true, my pet. Why don't you just take it from me, then? Why did you drag it out like this? Domnu looked offended. Me? Take something that does not belong to me? Never. She patted the packet. She patted the pocket with the Galator. Besides, the Galator must be given freely, not stolen, or else its powers are useless. Did no one ever tell you that? I shook my head. Too bad. She released an extended yawn. Definitely too bad. Let's get on with your part, I said grimly. How are you going to get us to the castle? You wouldn't mind a slight delay, would you? She asked. I am feeling quite tired at the moment. Delay? Yes, she yawned again. Just until tomorrow sometime. No, you promised. That's dishonestly. She scrutinized us for a moment. Well, all right. I suppose I can get you there today. but you should be ashamed for denying a poor old woman her much-needed rest." Her bald head wrinkled in thought. "The only question is how to do it." She patted the top of her head, her dark eyes roaming around the room. "Ah, that's it. Wings. You will need wings. Perhaps even a pair you are accustomed to." My heart leaped, as I wondered whether she might be referring to the legendary wings that Cairpri had told me about. Was Domnu about to restore to me what Olaf and Kyrens had lost long ago? I flexed my shoulders in anticipation. Her feet slapped against the floor to the doorway. She opened the heavy door, reached into the darkness, and pulled out a compact iron cage. It contained a small, tattered hawk, a merlin. "Trouble!" I rushed at the cage. The bird flapped and whistled enthusiastically, ripping at the iron bars with his talons. "Let him out," I pleaded, my fingers stroking the warm feathers through the bars. "Careful," warned Domnu. "He is feisty, this one. A real fighter. Small in body, large in spirit. He could rip you to shreds if he chose." "Not me, he won't." She shrugged. "If you insist." She tapped the cage lightly, and it instantly disappeared. Trouble found himself falling, but caught himself just before he hit the floor. With 2 flaps and a whistle, he landed on the top of my staff, before hopping down to my left shoulder. With his feathered neck, he nuzzled my ear. Then he turned to Domnu and raked the air angrily with his talons. "How did you find him?" I asked. She scratched the wart on her forehead. "He found me, though I have no idea how. He looked, well, rather feeble when he arrived, like someone had tried to make him into mincemeat. How the little wretch could fly at all is a miracle. I fixed him up a bit, hoping I might be able to teach him to play dice, but the ungrateful savage refused to cooperate." At this, Trouble whistled sharply and clawed the air again. Yes, I threw him in the cage against his will, but it was for his own good." Trouble whistled another reprimand. "And for my own protection! When I told him I had no interest in finding his friend, he flew at me, tried to attack me. I could have turned him into a worm right then and there, but I decided to keep him around just in case his manners improved. At any rate, he should prove useful to us now." Puzzled, Trouble and I cocked our heads in unison. "I should warn you," continued Domnu, "that while I can get you to the castle, I cannot get you into the castle. That much you will have to do on your own, not to mention getting out again." She peeked inside the pocket holding the Gala Tour. "Since I will not be seeing you again, allow me to thank you for giving me this." I sighed, but the familiar weight on my shoulder tempered my sadness. I indicated the bird. "And thank you for giving me this." Domnu slid toward us. As Trouble eyed her warily, she placed her hands on both my head and Shim's. With the same look of concentration she had shown when shrinking the chess pieces, she started muttering. All at once, I felt myself growing smaller. Beyond Shim's shriek, I heard Domnu calling some sort of instructions to Trouble. In a flash, the hawk was no longer riding on my shoulder. Instead, it was I who was riding on Trouble's feathery shoulder, flying high above the dark hills. Okay, so that was chapter 33. Thank you all for joining me. We are pretty close to the end. And if you didn't know, I also uploaded all of the other chapters to YouTube with the same name as my Twitch account. So if you were missing any or wanted to catch up or listen to it again, you can find them there. All right. Have a wonderful night or day, depending on where you are.